Hi everyone! In this video, I will show you how to host your CV using GitHub Pages. I will also demonstrate how to add a toggle button that allows viewers to switch between light and dark mode. This customization is a great way to show how to personalize the default Jekyll Minimal theme. You can find the source code in this GitHub repository. I will make sure to link it in this video description. Special thanks to Carol for sharing her repository. I forked it and made a few minor adjustments. Let's start the tutorial by creating a new folder. I will go into the downloads folder and here I will create, let's call it CV. I will go inside CV and open this in VS Code. Now let's create two files. The first one will be README and the second one will be called config.yaml. In the configuration file, add the following text. What is the purpose of this config file? We use the configuration file because GitHub needs to know which template to download before deploying the website. Title and description are fields that can be modified. This is provided by the theme creator. It is a way to modify the content of the page. Here I am showing only the title and description fields, but you can update other things. It depends on the theme you are using. In our case, we are using Jekyll Minimal. Let's search for it on GitHub. Here is the repository for the theme that I am using. If we scroll down a bit, you will see that we have a section called customizing. And here they show you what you can change. I have already mentioned the title and description, but as you can see, we have other fields like show downloads, Google Analytics, and we can also, if you want to go deeper, change the CSS if you want. But don't worry about these things for now. We will see them later in the video. Now let's go back to VS Code. Make sure to save the configuration file, close it, and open the README file. I will paste some text quickly. What you type in this file will be shown in the website that we will deploy with GitHub Pages. This makes it very easy to concentrate on writing the CV in pure Markdown, while the theme you chose will take care of turning that into valid CSS and HTML. Make sure to save the file, and here I will open the source control tab. Let's initialize the repository. I will add these two files, and here I can use Copilot to write a commit message quickly. And now I will make sure to create another repo. Because I already have a repository with this name, I will call it CV number 2, and I will make sure to publish this as a public repo. Okay, so it is uploading the files. Nice. So now I can open this on GitHub. Awesome. So as you can see, we have the two files that we have just created. Now I want to show you how to activate GitHub Pages because by default they are disabled. Click on the settings button. After that, click on Pages. Here, select deploy from a branch, and by default, we will have only the main branch. So make sure to select it, select the root folder and click on save. So here it says GitHub Pages source saved. That's what we want to see. Now go back to code and you should see that here we have a job that will deploy the website. So we need to wait for this to complete before checking the result. If you are curious, you can click on details, and here you can see that we have the full stage. So we have build, and after that, if everything went well, we are going to deploy the website. Okay, so as you can see, we didn't get any error. That's good. And now we need to get the link. I will show you how to get it very easily. Go back to settings, click on pages, and here you should see the link. So you can click on it. Let me do that very quickly. Sorry, I'll just make sure to open a new tab. Nice. So as you can see, we have the website. Now let's go back because I want to show you something else. Click on code, click on this gear icon, And here you have this option to use your GitHub Pages website in order to fill this field. Now save the changes, and this will give you the link quickly. Instead of going to settings and then clicking on pages, you can just come here and click on this link. So now let's open it. And as you can see here on the right, we have the contents. This is exactly what I have in the README file. And here on the right, we have other things that we can tweak. So now let's go back to VS Code because I want to show you what will happen if I decide to change, let's say, title and description. Okay, so I have updated the config file. Now I'll save it, create a commit message, and push the changes. Good. Now let's go to GitHub, and this will not deploy instantly. We need to wait for the job to finish. So if I refresh the page, you will see that a new job will be created. Basically, whenever you push a change, GitHub will automatically detect that and will try to redeploy the website. Again, if you are curious, click on details in order to see what's happening. So the build stage succeeded. Now let's wait for the deploy phase and I'll come back. Awesome, so everything went well. Let's go to code, click on the link. And as you can see, this is exactly the title that I have added here in the config file, and the description is here. So these are the things that you can customize. And as I said, there are other things that you could customize. You can go back to the documentation and find all the things that you can customize in this theme. Now let's go back to VS Code because I want you to learn how to customize this template. Let's open the File Explorer, and here I wanted to create two folders. First one will be called Layouts, and make sure to add that underscore at the beginning. And the second one will be called Assets. Inside Assets, create another folder named CSS. And inside CSS, I wanted to create a new CSS file. You can name it whatever, but I will call it dark.css because this style sheet will be used to add the dark mode. You might ask, how do I know that I need to create these folders? This is a good question. The answer is that this is documented in the themes repository. Let's go back to it. Okay, here is the repository. Let me scroll down a little bit. As you can see, here we have the customizing section. If I scroll a bit to the layouts section, you can see that here they say that if you would like to change the theme's HTML layout, this is what you need to do. You need to create this folder and add this HTML file inside it. We are going to do this. And after that, paste the default layout inside this default.html and then customize it however you like. And for the CSS, they say that you need to create the assets folder, then the CSS folder, and after that, add the style sheet. And this is exactly what I have done. The answer is that you need to check the documentation because the creators will allow you, if it is possible, then you should be able to read the documentation in order to customize the theme. So now we need to create this file and the content is here. So let me open this in a new tab. And as you can see, this is basically HTML. We can click on this icon in order to copy the file content. Now inside layouts, I will create that default HTML file and paste this content. By doing this, nothing will change because this is exactly the default HTML or the default layout that Jekyll uses by default. So nothing will change. Now I have already created the style sheets. I'll just copy that and paste it. And later I'll explain to you how to do that by yourself. Okay, here are all the things that we need to change. Now I will save this. I'll make sure to add these two files, create a commit message and push everything. Now let's go back to Chrome. Let's go back here, refresh the page. And now let's wait for the deploy job to succeed. Awesome, we didn't get any error. I'll go back to code. I have the link here, so I'll just refresh the page. Okay, let's refresh it. Okay, so it doesn't work. Let's go back and click on this one. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to add something. So now we have, yes, we have created the default HTML. We also created the CSS, but I forgot to link this style sheet inside the HTML. You can see that here we are already linking the default CSS that the Jekyll theme has provided, but we need to add our own. So come here, and here we need to add our own style sheet. Okay, this is how we do this. So here, this is a style sheet, and we have it inside assets, CSS, and this is the name of the file. Okay, save this. Now let's commit again, and this should make the default theme be dark instead of light. Okay, so let's push everything, and now let's wait. Let's check the website because, yeah, I don't see any error. I'll refresh the page, and as you can see, now the default theme is black. So this is happening because we linked the dark.css file. Now I told you that I will explain to you how I did this. Let me go back to VS Code. Let's open dark.css, and here I have a great way to show you how to explain this, because showing you the text will not be very explanatory, but I like to use this trick. Open the website. Here I want you to right click on inspect, and here click on sources. Make sure to open the assets folder, CSS, and click on dark.css. And this is a great tool because it will allow you to make changes and see the effects or see the results immediately. I just want to say one thing before I proceed. You need to be familiar at least with HTML and CSS, because these are the skills that you need to know or that you need to have in order to be able to customize the theme or the template. So now, I don't know if I can increase the font size. Oh yes, I can. Cool. So here the body means basically the background. Here I chose this dark color. So if I click on it, I get this color picker, and now look what will happen. So you can see that it changes immediately, instantly. So you can see the effects of the size that I have chose. And this is why I said that this is a great tool to allow me to explain to you how I did this. So for example, let's say that I want this dark color, okay? So this is what body does. And here, color, so let me just copy this hex color, will basically change the text color. Okay, so as you can see, this does nothing because we already override that in the other styles. So this means that we can remove this because it does nothing. Okay, so now the A tags. Basically, A tags are links. For example, this link to the Medium profile or this link to my LinkedIn profile, you can see that it is colored in blue. Let's say that I want to make it yellow. I can remove this and select yellow. And as you can see, the text immediately changed. But now we have the hover effect. The hover effect allows you to change the color when you hover on that specific element. Let's say that I want it to be yellow, but to darken a bit. So here is yellow. Let's make it a little bit dark. Let's see the effect. So you can see that it changes whenever I hover over it. Okay, let's keep going. Now we have site.title and site.nav. I can change this also. And you can see that here, these two doesn't do anything. So I can just remove them. Now we have header and footer. You can see that here in this container where we have title and description, we have this background color. And this is the header and this is the footer. I can change that color like this, and you can see that it changes the header background and the footer background. Let's say that I want that background to be the same as the body. I can click on this, and as you can see, now it is removed. And color will change the text inside. Yeah, so you can see that the text inside the header and footer will change. So this changes basically the description and this text that we have below. Okay, so let's keep it as it was. And now we have the header tags. So H1 is basically, I think this one. H2, it's a little bit smaller, etc. So you can change the color of the headers. Let's say that we want to make it, let's say blue. Yeah, let's make it blue. And as you can see, it changed this text and the other ones. But the text that we have inside did not change because basically these are paragraphs. And in order to change paragraphs, we have the p tag. And if I select this and change the color, you can see that the paragraph's color now changes. And now, if you are happy with the changes, don't forget to copy the whole file, then go back to VS Code and paste the content here. And now save this and push the changes. Because if you close this, everything will go. Or if you refresh the page, you can see that we lost everything. So we don't want that to happen. This is why I want you to copy that, save it here, and now we can push the changes. Okay, because now we are satisfied. I highly suggest you to do that, because if you don't, then you need to commit, push, then come here, wait for the deploy job to finish, and then see the results. So that takes a lot of time. But doing it here is very quick, as you saw. Now this is done, but let me show you how to add the button so that you can swap between the themes. Now, if we want to add the button, we need to go to the HTML, because this is where we need to make that change. And let me show you how we do that. So scroll down a bit. Here we have this script tag. Let's add another one, because we are going to use JavaScript in this case. Now let's go back, because I want to, let's see, if I go back to the website, you can see that I want to add the button here below this view the project on GitHub. And if I locate that, you can see that here it is. Let me collapse this. View the project on GitHub. So now I can come here and put this HTML, or if you want, you can put it in any place. I'm just showing you how to add a button inside an HTML file. Here we have a button. Inside it, we have two things. We have the first span, which will show an icon, and the second one, by default, it shows dark mode, because this is the default mode that we show to the user. But here you can see that I am using Font Awesome, and Font Awesome provides many icons that we can use in our projects, but we did not install it. So we need to somehow import it in our project. And in order to do that, we add this link. Okay, let me indent things. Okay, so you can see that here we are using Font Awesome, and I think this is an old version, but the way you add them is simple. For example, I will come here, you search for Font Awesome CDN, and as you can see, here is the newer version, and I can click on copy link tag, come here and paste it. Awesome. So you can see that this was an older version and this one is new. And this is how you import a library without using npm install. And now we have access to these icons. And here we have a text that will change dynamically whenever we click on the button. Okay, now let's go back to this script tag, because we need to add a little bit of JavaScript. Now let's start by getting the elements. I forgot to mention that each element has a unique ID. Here, for example, the button has this ID, theme toggle button, the same for the icon and the label. But I also need to add an ID to this style sheet, because when we want to switch to light mode, we are going to disable this style sheet. So let's add the ID, and now everything is set up. So you can see that here is the dark mode style sheet, and here is the ID that we have used. Now I'm creating this function, set theme, that will basically take a theme. This is a string, and then compare it. If that string is dark, then we are going to enable the CSS, and after that we are going to set moon as the icon. The label will be dark mode, and we are going to change the background color of the button and the text color. And here we are using area label. This is just for accessibility reasons. And finally, we are storing the theme that the user has selected in the local storage. So this value, which is theme, this is the key and this is the value. It will be stored on the browser. And After that, whenever we reopen the website, we are going to read this value. If it exists, then we are going to set the theme based on the value stored in local storage. But how do we do that? Let me show you. We have this event which is called DOM content loaded. This event will fire whenever you visit the website, and it fires only once. So when I open the website, I am going to get that value that is stored in this key, and based on that I will call the set method. And here by default I am hard coding dark because in my case I want the website to be always in dark mode if this value is not set. Finally, we need to listen on the click listener. So here we are adding this event so that we can click on the button. Here, whenever we click, we are going to get the theme, and we are going to do the same thing. If the current theme is set to dark, we are going to switch to light mode. But if the current theme is light mode, we are going to switch to dark mode. Now save this and let's create a commit message and let's push the changes. Now let's go to GitHub. Let's refresh the page. Okay, so the deployment is getting ready. Click on details. Awesome. Now, again, let's go back to code and let's click on this link. As you can see, here we have something strange. So let's just, it's not strange. Yeah, let's go to dark.css. Yeah, it shows yellow. What's important is that we have the button. And now if I click on it, you can see that it works. And here we have a problem. We don't have the font awesome icons. So let's debug this. The problem is the version. You saw in the beginning, I was using version, I think 4.7. And in that version, in order to use the font awesome icons, we need to use a specific syntax. But since now I'm using the latest version, that changed. So either we go back to the previous version and keep the names as they were, or change the syntax. So this is what I have done. Let me show you the before and after. So before it was like this, and after making the change, the string is like this. Okay, so let's push this and see if it works. Okay, let's click on the link and let's see if that fixed the issue. And as you can see, we have the icons. Now let's check. Yes, so everything is working. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope that you learned something from it. The source code is available on GitHub and the link can be found in the video description. Take care. Bye.